Hi everybody. I wanted to do a short but very important video on the importance of record keeping and continuity of record keeping. Recently a client came to me where a community association manager had taken over from another company and put all of the records that they received into boxes and put them in the warehouse. Now that's all well and good, except for the fact that when counsel is working on collecting matters that are delinquent, counsel needs access to those records, and especially if the board decides to change counsel, that means that the CAM needs to spend time going through the records that may be in dead storage and trying to retrieve those. A couple of the most important issues I have for my CAM friends and associates that we work with is as follows. Number one is, when you take over an account, please look at the ledgers. Both the condo law and Chapter 720 require that every unit and every owner have a ledger, and those ledgers have to go back 7 years. If they don't, and all it shows is a balance forward, then you have no clue what's included in that so-called balance forward. It could be an improperly levied fine. It could be a legal bill for writing a dog letter, so to speak. It could be any number of things, a key that was charged, none of which are lienable in the assessment collection process. So you've got to be very careful in insisting at the time that you take over the file that the records show a ledger which goes back as far as 7 years, or at a minimum back to 0, so you can see every charge broken out. The second thing you need to make sure you have is copies of any previous demands made, whether it's by previous management or by counsel. Because if you switch counsel, we either need to start over, or especially if there's a fee dispute with the previous lawyer, the rules regulating members of the Florida Bar provide that records of the lawyer belong to the lawyer. And under certain instances, the lawyer is not required to give copies of the file to the client, especially in the case of a fee dispute. Now, there are issues involved that you can get into, but none of them are pleasant, and all of them take time. And the easiest thing to do is go through the records at the time you get them. If they're deficient, then CAMs who don't turn over proper records and don't turn over proper ledgers need to have their feet held to the fire, because that brings down the professionalism of everyone. The second part of that is that all of that information is an official record of the association, and if an owner asks you for it and you can't provide it, then your feet are going to be held to the fire. So, setting aside the fact that the lawyer can't do his or her job without having that information, so that we as successor counsel can make sure that what was done was proper, legal, and appropriate. So for a variety of reasons, it's vital that when you take over management of a community, please have accounting, look at the records, get them scanned so they don't go away. It's cheap enough anymore. Get them tagged and have them relate to the debtors. And make sure that the ledgers follow the law, because that's all you're required to keep. So be careful out there. Thanks. See you again.